Yeah. Welcome to Winning in the Margins with Jeff and Jamion. Our topic today: how is being exposed more impactful than dominating? Jeff, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jamie, and yourself.
I love it, man. Let's attack this right now, man. Talk to me about being exposed, how it's more impactful.
Hey, always up for learning something. We have that learner spirit, that earner spirit, and when you're dominating, there's a whole area that you don't know how you're attacking. We don't know how it's going to take that team out in California that we won't meet until the NCAA championship. And so the more I can get exposed, the more opportunity I have to learn. And I'm looking to win. I'm not looking to be told I was good. I'm not looking to be told I had a good game. I'm looking to dominate. I'm looking to win a championship. Any team I'm a part of, we're coming. And the only way that we can do that is to create those opportunities within our practice, within our practice field, mat, court, whatever it is, or be exposed within the game. And so that exposure creates opportunities for me to learn. Learning creates opportunities for me to dominate. Dominating is what I want to do all day long, man.
Yeah, I would go further. I would say, in order to be truly dominant, you must have been exposed at some point.
Absolutely.
Exposure forces you to look at all the crevices that you're not great at, and it forces you to fill those crevices in. And to truly be dominating, you got to know your weaknesses and how to hide those, how to blur those with success, how to dare people to not even try to take a chance on those weaknesses. And so I'm with you on that. I think the exposure is maybe the most is really one of the first steps in how you can become truly dominant.
When you talk about being exposed, when you're filling those gaps, you're leveling up your IQ. The IQ is what we need to win the ball game. And if I want to dominate, I need to know who my team is. If I have a team full of people that want to be good and haven't been introduced to getting exposed yet, well, I don't know how we're responding to that. I might have folks that throw in the towel, and we need to work on or figure out whether we really want them in the lineup, because I'm looking for fighters, right? Fighters are who's going to win at the end of the day. We're climbing to the highest level. I need to know that the folks that I'm traveling with are having fun. And fun loves to compete. Fun doesn't love easy. One of the greatest opportunities I've had the last 12 years of being in this industry is to understand who's having fun and who's lukewarm all the time. And it's that person looking to take on a challenge. And the challenges are created when we're exposed. Either we are in a learning environment that is constantly creating those opportunities, or we get run over. And the response to that is what is going to be telling to where we have the ability to go.
Yeah, I would say the exposure and being exposed, what you learn in that process, you learn humility. You learn the hunger. You learn how to work hard, how to work harder. You gain some vision, and you learn what resources you need around you. Anytime we talk to someone about, we call this part the pit, the exposure. We call this the pit.
Okay.
You remember the Batman movie where he's literally in a pit, and they're cheering him on. He's broken his back. They bring him back to life, and they bring him back to life. He rehabilitates himself, and the only way to get out of this pit is he's got to climb up it he's got to climb up to a ledge, and when you get to the ledge, they put a rope on you, and then you try to jump across to the ledge to the other ledge to climb it. So we just call that the pit. And so when you're talking about being exposed, it's about being so down deep, dirty, that you're forced to learn how to battle with yourself. And the
Right.
only way that he's able to jump from ledge to ledge is to take the rope off. And the rope
Man.
is what's holding him back. He takes the rope off and he runs across and jumps. He barely makes it, grabs him by his fingertips, climbs himself to the top of it, and climbs himself out of the pit. And at that point, he's the only person that he knows has climbed himself out of the pit. He's really the only person that's been able to expose himself to everyone. Rich guy, Batman, Bruce Wayne, rich guy falls into a pit, climbs himself out of it. His exposure is what gives him the ability to be a true champion and then to go on and defend Gotham.
You and I, we agree with the learning environment. The learning environment brings about exposure. It creates exposure opportunities. And my goodness, Jamie, I can't say it any other way than it will tell you who is really there and loving the challenge as compared to who's not going to end up making it. And or it tells us who we need to bring it, who we need to enculturate. We were talking about onboarding a few moments ago, and I can't remember if it was in this segment or the last one we were doing, but we've got to enculturate loving the challenge, that learner's environment, that earner's spirit. And there's nothing more, nothing less, if we're looking to get to the tip top, than finding ways to expose where we need to grow.
Yeah, that earner spirit allows you to love the challenge.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, I love that. I got to put that down because I think that's the truth of it. And you know, when you're being exposed, like you said, you know pretty quickly who's with you. You know pretty soon who's not with you, and all the character of every team or every individual is developed when you're being exposed. So I would always offer, like, don't run away from the exposure. Challenge yourself to the deepest, darkest parts. Accept failing within it. Learn from it. Climb yourself out of that pit. Leap from ledge to ledge. Climb up to the top of that mountain. And then go and achieve all the things that you're destined to go and achieve.
Let's end it with this. First person that comes to your mind when it comes to taking on the challenge, being exposed, never giving it up, never giving up, taking it to a limit. That first person comes to your mind, takes it to. Who is that?
First person, Jim Edmonds.
Jim Edmonds.
You know, for people that don't know, was a pitcher for the Angels. Only had a left hand. He was an amputee on his right arm, on his right wrist, and was really an elite pitcher in baseball for a long time. So when I think of someone who like battled through a ton of adversity, I always think about Jim Edmonds and his ability to be one of the very best, despite having being an amputee. Who do you think about?
Man, I got athletes coming in here all the time, and you know, there's a handful. I got some people back on winter break right now. I got some folks that we got some lacrosse kids in here right now, man, and the way that they fight, it's crazy. I think of a Shelton Graves. I've never seen anybody. Shelton Graves, an MMA fighter. And everyone that I come in and I say, they're going somewhere. They're going somewhere. I have the character, been able to spend the last 8-9 years with Shelton and seen everything behind the scenes, the good, the bad, the ugly, the exposure. And he's the first person that introduced me to having a desire to be exposed. If he didn't know how to wrestle, he wanted to walk into a wrestling room. If he needed to work on Muay Thai, he wanted to walk into the best Muay Thai room with the best people. He's traveled across the country, taking on a fight. You have a seasoned veteran in his first 3 fights. He wanted to take on the seasoned veterans. I want to know where I am, and we're going to keep on coming. His last fight, and we're excited for him to get back out. But this is how far we've come. We were over, last 2 fights were Russia and Poland. He was with a promotion over a Russian promotion. And he lost 2 fights in a row. And inside boxing, we were learning that we learned that we needed to learn inside boxing. Didn't have that game. So he goes back to back, losing, and also needed to understand that what he does have, we need to go and we need to be brave with delivering it no matter who's there. And so you fast forward that a few years, and my goodness, did he work on what he got exposed on behind the scenes and traveling across the country. We go in, we take on a guy that just won PFL, Professional Fighters League. We take on a guy a few years later, and I believe he won the fight. A lot of viewers believe he won the fight. Now, on the card, he lost. The guy he fought ended up just winning the $1 million prize. We're excited about getting back in the PFL this season. Hopefully they invite us back PFL this season and going and chasing that chip. But 2 years ago, that guy would have beat him first round. We keep coming. We get exposed. Some people quit. Some people keep coming, take their game to the highest level. And so I think about a Shelton Graves, and I think about his journey. And when I'm watching other people that come into our building, we are working hard at helping them find the challenge. Even if they don't know that we're working hard at helping them find a challenge, we want to see who's coming and who's about to quit, or who's about only go so far, so that we can look to establish that character trait of humility. Always good enough. Give your best. And when you think it's exposure, change it over to finding a challenge, loving that opportunity, and running through. So I would give that to Shelton Graves. He's the one that we branch out and look at everybody through the eyes of how to journey.
I love it. And that's us for today. The best want to be exposed because they're on a journey to become their very best.
Hey,
thanks for joining Jeff and Jamion on Winning in the Margins.
Loved hanging out with you today, Jamion. Talk with you soon, man.
Always.
Take it easy, brother.